Welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm your host, Tristen Stawicki. Think of me as your pragmatic shaman bestie. Join in with other high-vibe, lovely people as I unravel spiritual ideas to help create change and growth in your life. I cover a variety of spiritual topics, sharing knowledge to meet you wherever you are in your journey. As a shaman, astrologer, and human design reader, I help you understand how to make informed decisions and incorporate different modalities using discernment and your own intuition. Today, you will gain powerful shamanic healing tools you can use to incorporate spiritual practices in non-traditional ways. Whether you're just beginning or need a knowledgeable best friend with the next phase of your journey, I'm here to help. Stay tuned. Musings and Modalities starts now. Tristen Stawicki, your pragmatic shaman bestie, and for the next 30 minutes, we'll be diving into astral projection and lucid dreaming. In this episode, I'll cover the differences between astral projection, lucid dreaming, how to achieve them, and my personal experiences with both of them. I've found each of these techniques to be incredibly useful on my own healing journey, as they are just another tool really to add to that toolkit you have available to you. So to start, a plane is a subtle state of reality, and we're really familiar with the physical realm, the physical state and plane, right? That's where we spend most of our time. And different planes of existence are acknowledged and taught in many different religions and beliefs, such as Buddhism, Hinduism, in theology, and even in role-playing games. There are entire studies, documentaries, and books that cover the near-death experience and people sharing being out of their body and having a completely different awareness and existence that's outside their kind of physical state. Now, there are 7 different planes. There are more planes depending on what religion or beliefs you're studying, but that's kind of the in the zeitgeist, it's kind of like the starting point is 7 different ones that are pretty widely discussed. And they are the physical plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, the causal plane, the Buddhic plane, the spiritual plane, and the divine plane. And that's a lot. And in our episode today, I'm really only going to focus on the astral plane and kind of talk about that one against the physical plane, which we're super familiar with. The astral plane is defined as the place where consciousness stays after the death of the physical body. And astral is an adjective that's connected with it's connected with or resembling the stars. Astral is has a beautiful energy to this word that is both beautiful and esoteric and dreamy. And as we think about the astral plane, I want to call out that we also have the term astral body. And so we have this astral body as well, which is our energetic body that includes our chakras and our auras, and that's referred to as the subtle body. So when you hear the word astral, overall, it's that dreamy kind of experience, and then we can add the word plane to it or the word body, and that kind of changes what we're referring to overall. So if you are in the astral plane, you're experiencing a realm, a place where movement feels easier. You may have a representation of your physical body or actually feel like you're in another physical body overall. Your consciousness is really the driver in this space. If you do have physical limitations in the physical realm or in your everyday life, you likely won't experience them in the astral realm and will feel pretty weightless and free overall. And this has been documented in many studies over and over again, but I do want to call that out, that absolutely can happen and be a part of the experience. The actual act of leaving the physical realm and moving to the astral realm with your energetic body, not your physical one, right, is called astral projection. And I know we have a lot of words and a lot of terms in this episode, but I really want to make sure each of the definitions are clear. And so when you have that out-of-body experience, it's called that for a reason. Your energetic body kind of leaves that physical one. And when you move into the astral realm, then it's further called astral projection, right? And this may be something you've already experienced if you are someone that have had life or death situations. You could have experienced this through very deep shamanic journey work and very deep meditation. So I just want to call out and kind of name what you may have already experienced. So for today, I really want to focus on the techniques for astral projection. How do you do this, right? And so this is really similar to creating an environment for meditation, right? It's typically easiest to astral project in the morning, right after waking up, or right as you're falling asleep or in a dream state. Really, those times where you're in the liminal space are perfect for this. Because your mind isn't kind of stuck with the everyday things you're doing. You're not thinking about laundry, you're not thinking about dishes. You're really able to open your mind in a different way during those times. You'll also want to be alone and in a very relaxed state, preferably lying down in a quiet room in a very comfortable position, right? You don't want to think about how your knees or your hips feel when you're trying to astral project. I also recommend you try to limit any distractions and not to have too much light, as this will really allow you to sink into that meditative space and state. If you find it helpful or comforting, I would say feel free to grab crystals like a clear quartz or an amethyst, which you can place in your hands or on your third eye, right? You can place it right on your third eye or right near the forehead area. You could also do it above the crown if you don't want a crystal touching you. If you're laying down and have a pillow, that's also a beautiful way to do it. I also find it really helpful to connect with Pachamama, with our Mother Earth. And as we sink more and more into a relaxed state, we really want to focus on feeling the vibrations of energy from the earth and the things around us. And this can feel like a pulsing wave. This is where our senses are heightened. Perhaps you can even hear further than you normally can. That's something I experience personally, which I know is kind of a weird thing to say, but you really feel dialed in, and all of those senses are just extended farther than what you experience in your day-to-day life. And so once you reach this deep, meditative, relaxed state, it really is a choose your own adventure, right? You can try to have your astral body hover over your physical one as a starting place. You can try to have your astral body move into a different room in your house, or you can visit a place that you frequent, right? You can kind of see everything in your mind's eye and think of going there and feel the energy of being in the room and the experiences there. As you get more and more comfortable with astral projection, some intermediate level work would be to visit the astral realm. And I find this easiest to do with shamanic beats or through journey work or while sleeping. Kind of again, to reiterate the first steps, when you want to astral project initially, starting with separating your energetic body from your physical one and coming back to it, right? And really building your ability to come back to your physical body. And then seeing that you can go further and further out, even to other realms. And so when I'm kind of pushing past the logical mind, I find that music or that dream state really, really helps. Because if my logical mind is still kind of going and moving, it can easily shut down any sort of projection I'm doing. It can easily kind of shut down me trying to leave my physical body. Also, my logical mind really struggles to perceive and understand what the astral realm is and kind of the experiences I would have there. And so in my dreams, my brain doesn't have those same limitations, and I'm able to have a much cooler experience because of it. I do want to call out astral projection, especially in the astral realm, is intermediate to advanced work. This is a tool that might be harder to master, and that's absolutely okay. And you also may find that this is something as you're learning more about it that doesn't really interest you or that you feel called to at this point, and that is totally fine. I do want to also call out there are some risks with astral projection. So anytime your soul, your energetic body, your aura leaves your physical body, you want to make sure that you are grounded and can return back to your physical body with ease. You want to have a really strong physical connection and relationship with your body before attempting anything like this, especially if you plan to try this frequently. astral projection is tiring, and I give myself grace and eat more food on those days and give myself more rest on the days when I've done this work. I also want to call out that I clear myself after astral projections as entities are on the energetic superhighway, right? I frequently encounter them. I have interactions with them on my way to the astral realm and in the realm itself. You, of course, can say protections before entering the astral realm and doing astral projecting overall, but that doesn't absolve you from doing the energetic work after. All right, so we've spoken a bit about astral projection and the astral realm. I want to kind of move into lucid dreaming because I think there are beautiful ways that they're maybe not similar, but similar tactics can be used to get you in either state, which is really, really cool. And both are incredibly powerful um, healing tools. So, lucid dreaming is when you are dreaming and have the ability to notice you're in a dream, and then you can take control of the dream to different levels, right? This most frequently happens during the REM or rapid eye movement cycle or state, which you enter about 90 minutes or so after you fall asleep. And you can cycle through the REM state a few times throughout a full night's sleep. There are actually some studies that suggest folks with a larger prefrontal cortex might have an easier time moving into REM and are likely to have vivid dreams. And some really cool things about lucid dreams are they can help you work through stressful situations. Um, if you are able to control your dreams and you suffer from nightmares, or if you're someone that relives trauma while sleeping, this can be really helpful to have you kind of take control of those situations, replay those situations with different outcomes, and see what happens. For how to do lucid dreaming, there's a lot of considerable prep that needs to happen, especially if you're someone that struggles to have restful sleep or a consistent sleep schedule overall. You want to have exceptional sleep hygiene when learning this tool. And so I wanted to share a few techniques and habits to start implementing before attempting lucid dreaming. So for the first one, I recommend getting a minimum of 8 hours of sleep. And I know this is something we've heard throughout our lifetimes. It's like so vital and so important. And I'm actually someone that needs even more than that. I need 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep. And I've had to work to unlearn a lot from the kind of toxic hustle culture where sleep is treated as a luxury and really embrace sleep as a non-negotiable and really reflecting on and embracing how vital it is to our overall health. Getting a full night's rest is key to giving you as many chances as possible to lucid dream, as again, we hit that REM state every 90 minutes. So if you're only getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep, that really undercuts the number of times you'll enter that state. For the second kind of habit to build, environment is everything. Typically, a cooler and completely dark room is recommended. I personally have a humidifier that is going, especially in the winter and spring seasons. There may need to be a bit of experimenting here if you aren't sure what environment works best for your sleep. And this is super important to get dialed in so that you are set up for success with lucid dreaming. For the third technique, I recommend that you really start capturing and documenting your dreams, especially if you're someone that have had recurring dreams over your lifetime or have recently had recurring dreams that come up every few months. Keeping a dream journal helps you step out of the state of experiencing the dream and moving into studying it, which is so helpful in shifting in how your brain thinks about it and allowing you to reflect on it. Rather than focusing on like, oh, this happened in the dream, then this happened, and this person came in, it's like, well, what's the theme of the dream, And the more you can really strengthen this muscle, the easier lucid dreaming will become. I also take this a step further. So if you want an advanced tactic, or if you're someone that's already doing this, I actually track the where the phase of the moon is and what sign the moon is in. or if it's void. And the reason I find that helpful is when the moon is Aquarius and on the full moons, I typically always have vivid dreams. And so understanding and even planning for when I can lucid dream has been really helpful because lucid dreaming is not something I want to do every night, right? I've actually had to really be honest with myself and say like even once a week is can be a little bit too much depending on the weeks that I'm having. Because you want to actually get rest when you're resting. And lucid dreaming is almost like putting in a full day's work, right? You really can exhaust yourself with it. It's draining on the resources you have within your body. And I still recommend that you do it. I just want to make sure it's not something you have the expectation you're doing always or several times a week. I think a few times a month is really helpful just to keep that kind of habit in place. And then practicing good sleep hygiene and habits, always. So you're ready whenever it happens. Or if you have guides that communicate with you through dreams, being ready for that. I've also had to ask my guides to back off from so many downloads at times because it was just night after night for a while. And you'll start to see the circles under the eyes and you'll start to see kind of the exhaustion just because you're not physically able to recover, which is the entire point of sleep. And finally, for the fourth kind of habit and technique I recommend is really reflecting on your own evening habits and see what is disrupting being able to quiet your mind. I personally don't have the TV on or a podcast or anything from a noise perspective while I'm sleeping. As an aside, have noticed that when I play video games before bed, my dreams are more vivid and it's easier to lucid dreams, which is super cool. So that might be something you experience as well. So I'm not going to tell you, to do exactly what I do for lucid dreaming, especially with the habits before bed, but I do recommend being open to testing, what works for you. Um, because if you're already thinking about the television show or you're already kind of thinking or listening to a podcast, especially people that listen to like a true crime or something, your brain might already be like working through that. You might not have the lucid dream experience you're looking for. So ultimately, I would say really be open to kind of experimenting what works for you and jotting it down and reflecting on it. For more information on the science behind sleep and dreams, I really recommend this book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, PhD. It's an incredible and life-changing book. I have recommended it to so many people, probably in an annoying way. I read it several years ago, and the way I thought about sleep and the way I treat sleep has fundamentally changed, and that has opened up my ability to astral project and lucid dream. And so I'm so, so grateful for the knowledge shared, because these sleep habits are vital. And once we have those great sleep habits, I want to dive into how we can consistently have lucid dreams. The number one way for me to achieve lucid dreaming is to create a one sentence goal that I state almost like a mantra as I'm falling asleep. So I put together um, some like not silly ones, but kind of fun ones because I really want to keep these as fun exercises. We want to, of course, respect both tools in lucid dreaming and astral projection, but it is very cool to be able to do this. And so for me, a sentence I've used many times is I want to experience the Fairy Glen in Scotland. I physically went to that space. I love visiting it in dreams and be able to spend more time there. I find it really replenishing. And so that's like my one sentence I'll start with. And eventually, as I'm falling asleep, of course, that's shortened to like Fairy Glen in Scotland that you just kind of repeat over and over again. In a not fun topic, sometimes I'll do this with work problems as well. If you think of like a work situation or a problem you want to work through, maybe while dreaming, that's really helpful to do. Other examples could be I want to spend time with a specific person, especially if there's someone who is no longer physically on Earth, or if you just need a little peace and quiet, asking for a walk in the woods. What a beautiful way to kind of spend your time lucid dreaming. There are tons of versatility with this tactic that can really drive the experience of the dream. And rather than the dream being a surprise, I really find it easier when I've requested a dream to then recognize, oh, I have autonomy here. Like, let me really enjoy it, sink into this experience, or, call in what I want that experience to be. And as you're building this muscle, right, it's that recognition that you're in a dream can take time. It's a new thing that we're doing, but it does get stronger and faster each time. Now, there are other options for lucid dreaming. There have been several studies and recommendations to set an alarm about 5 hours of sleep. And so I've not done this because the idea of trying to wake up after 5 hours of sleep literally feels horrific to me. Like it's not something I want to do, but you could try this where like once the alarm goes off, you could state to yourself a few times that the next time you dream, you'll remember it's just a dream. And again, this reinforces autonomy and has the added benefit of using the perspective memory, right? And that's where we are remembering to do something in the future. Another tactic is if you required noise, like as you're trying to go to sleep, binaural beats may help with lucid dreaming. And this may be more of a passive way for you to induce this state if the other tactics aren't as effective for you. Lucid dreaming takes practice and persistence. And to really, I recommend keep it pretty low stakes, right? This is a cool tool. This can be fun. Like we can use this to fly above mountains or hang out with different animals. I don't want you, especially in the beginning, to put pressure on yourself to make this to be used for only serious things or really impactful healing. Of course, it can be, but I also think it's vital to really bring kind of that joy, that curiosity and fun into this experience. I do want to call out that there are herbs that are revered for their dream work and are helpful for lucid dreaming. I've personally used mugwort, valerian, and blue lotus in different teas. I've also purchased a blend of herbs, many of these herbs, honestly, in an ointment and placed it on my third eye before sleep. Um, Personally, I've found using the one sentence mantra and being consistent with my sleep routines, along with dream journaling, to be the sweet spot for me and most effective overall. So, I want to talk about why we use lucid dreaming and astral projection as tools in our spiritual toolkit. It's been my personal experience that lucid dreaming and astral projection can expedite physical and emotional healing. Lucid dreaming is incredibly helpful in working through traumatic events, taking control of nightmares or recurring dreams, and it's really helpful in reinforcing your own power and autonomy. Like, it's so powerful to take over a dream you are having and interacting with, or even creating a dream experience overall. Like, that is incredibly mind-blowing. Personally, as a shaman, I love astral projection as I'm able to use kind of my big boy toys and spiritual tools. I use it as like a playground or a sandbox of sorts where I'm able to test new things in my toolkit before working on clients, right? I'm always working on myself first and foremost, and any new tool or resource that I have, I want to like vet it and test it for quite a long time with myself. And this is a great place to be able to do this. I've also had incredibly profound spiritual experiences where I've learned the most, honestly, outside of like working with clients and in client sessions. It's in the astral realm, it's a place I'm really comfortable traveling to, and I find it very natural to be there. I've been able to experience surgery in the astral realm before physical surgery, which prepped my body for that experience and was incredibly helpful in the healing process. This also was helpful in getting my mind right for the physical experience that I was going to have. I've also had challenging interactions with entities and big bads that helped kind of stretch and strengthen my ability to clear entities from people and from homes. It's really where I've been tested the most, so that my physical experience is a bit easier. When I'm working with clients, we kind of talk through where they need to take their power back and discuss if either of these tools might be helpful in that reclamation. If these are tools that feel out of reach right now, I really recommend starting with that prep work. For lucid dreaming, be honest with yourself on where you can improve your habits and quality of sleep. And for astral projection, sit in stillness and work to feel the energy of the earth, to feel the energetic vibrations of each day. I can use both lucid dreaming and astral projection with ease, which I'm very grateful to be able to do so. And I've also had a daily meditation practice of 30 minutes twice a day for 6 years, right? And that's in addition to all of the other habits and prep work and healing that I've done. And I say that because I want to not make it seem like I really want to make this seem achievable, but I also want to honor the work it can take to get there. And my goal with, this episode today is really to provide shortcuts so it doesn't take you nearly as long as it took me, but it's absolutely okay if it does take time. I really hope that this episode was helpful in learning more about astral projection, lucid dreaming, and how to use both of these incredible tools in your healing journey. Thank you so much for watching Musings and Modalities with me, your pragmatic shaman bestie. You can tune in the second and fourth Mondays of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for more fabulous episodes. If you haven't worked with me before, I'm offering a free 30-minute call with me for chakra clearing and balancing. And this is where I'll use Reiki to improve energetic blockages, align your energy, and replenish where you may be feeling a bit depleted. If you'd like to learn more about the astrology happening in the world in 2025 and how these transits may affect your experience this year, my 90-minute astrology readings use your birth time, date, and location and provide insight into your personal blueprint into both your past and present, as well as your future, most importantly. I go through each of the 12 houses in depth to cover really your planetary placements and how they work within your chart and within your life. I'll also share your upcoming transits for 2025 with a peek at 2026 and important days over the next year to 18 months as we uncover your special gifts and talents. In addition to all of that work, I'll provide an in-depth analysis of your midheaven, which is how you show up and perceived by others in your work and in your career. These offerings and more can be found at musingsandmodalities.com. I wanted to share some recent kind words from a few readings and from some incredible clients that I have. So the first is Tristen's take on the recent astrology events in my birth chart resonated with me in ways that other readings haven't. Another one states that Tristen's ability to layer the planets and house with my chart blew me away. I love hearing her take on my career and talents. And finally, my birth chart reading helped me switch careers and know that my path and know what my path is without second guessing myself. So thank you so much for all the kind words. That is so generous and so meaningful. I also want to invite you all to join more than 12,000 other lovely people that make up the Facebook community. Again, I'm so grateful for that community on the Musings and Modalities page. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Musings and Modalities with me, Tristen, your pragmatic shaman bestie. For more powerful healing tools, join me every second and fourth Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. I cover a variety of topics to meet you wherever you are at on your spiritual journey. Learn techniques to work with pendulums, past life healing, astrology, and more. Please share the show and subscribe for more guidance from your pragmatic shaman bestie at musingsandmodalities.com.